Hi, everybody. Maria Marinakis here, and I'm going to just introduce myself and give you a little bit about my background. I actually started out several decades ago. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many, but several, more than a couple. Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, several decades ago, I started out as a child and family therapist, and I was driven or called to that profession because of my own growing up. I had a lot of really great experiences growing up, but I grew up in a family of domestic violence and grew up with a dad that was very physically and emotionally, verbally very abusive, and grew up also very poor in inner city Baltimore. So this, you might think was a disadvantage, but actually turned out to give me quite a bit of gumption and resolve to achieve what I wanted to do. And, we say nothing happens by accident. And I thought it was by accident that I ended up in a master's degree program in psychology and ended up working afterwards as a child and family therapist, working with kids that, guess what, were at high risk for being removed from their homes because of abuse and neglect issues. And as a result, these children had a host of behavior issues, also some organic issues like ADHD, somewhere on the autism spectrum, pervasive developmental disorder, and a host of other things. So I got trained by the best of the best in the business, and I focused a lot of my early career in working with young children. I focused on 0 to 6, although I worked with all ages, but that was my specialty. And I became known locally here in Las Vegas as the Super Nanny on steroids. So I was very proud of that title, and a lot of folks came to me. I worked through the state, I worked privately, and worked with quite a number of folks. But a lot of times working privately with parents, I was pretty much giving away my services, and the parents were very grateful to me and loved what I was doing, but at the time, not willing to pay. I also did a lot of observations of kiddos and working with teachers in preschool classrooms on how to manage some really challenging behavior. And I just have all the techniques, man. I love what I do. And so I spent, like I said, a couple of my first part of my career doing that and focusing on that. And I was really trying to break out on my own into the coaching and did a lot of public speaking and did very well with that on the topics of childhood trauma and challenging behaviors, both in the classroom and at home. But I was really, I don't know, missing the mark, I guess, on getting parents to pay me to work with them individually. And I'm not sure what was the missing sauce there, but it just wasn't happening. And I thought I was maybe focusing on the wrong thing. So I surveyed the parents that I had worked with, whether it was for pay or not. And I was expecting to find out, I was asking them, what was their biggest parenting challenge? And I was expecting, tantruming, toilet training, bedtime routines, those kinds of things. But I was very shocked to find out that parents overwhelmingly, at least the ones I had been working with, responded to me saying that their biggest challenge was actually two things. One was time management, but it wasn't really what we think of as time management. It was more like they just constantly felt like they were on the run doing something and constantly feeling guilty. So, working parents, they were either superstars on the job and felt like, failures at home with their kids and their spouse because just feeling guilty for taking the time away. Or if they focus then on their family and their children, then they felt like they were not giving their 100% on the job and in their career and in their businesses. So it was a catch 22 where they always felt pretty much unfulfilled. No matter how many items they checked off of their to-do list, they were feeling that at the end of the day, they hadn't really accomplished anything that was really meaningful to them. And in the end, also, they felt like they just they couldn't please anybody, and especially themselves, right? And so that sparked some creativity on my end to say, you know what? I always say you can't give what you don't have, is one of my sayings. And so I thought, let's start working with the parents first. And the wonderful after effect will be that their parenting will naturally improve, their relationship with their children will naturally improve. And then, if there are any other issues still there, then we can work on the parenting side. So I started working with just very busy, super achiever types of folks that wanted to escape the rat race. I mean, just escape the stress. So basically, what I was helping them do is to figure out a way to have more fun, make more time for themselves, like create some space for themselves, and so that they could have more fun, um, work smarter, achieve more, and stress less. All right, so those were our goals, and the ultimate goal that, so what is that going to do for me? It's going to free up some time, and it's going to allow folks to do more of what matters. And folks say, well, what does that mean, more of what matters? Well, it's more of what matters to you, right? Whatever your value system, if you're wanting to have more time to spend with your children, be able to be home and read them a bedtime story or lead them through their morning routine and be relaxed and, dropping them off to school and all of that. And so that was the main goal of that, right? To work with busy superachievers who refuse to get off that trajectory of success, but they want to make more money while having more fun and also working much less so they can do what matters most to them. Thanks.